So, I'm talking about the alleged Charlie Kirk assassin smiling in court, and this trial, the original thought with this trial is that it would be a big wake-up call about the left. And maybe it will be, but when you see how the liberals operate, when it comes, liberals love criminals. I don't know why that is. I mean, I gotta call it what it is. It's a fetish to me. They let him out of prison to go and kill. And, I was talking, Dukakis, when he was running against Bush for president, Bush won. He had one guy he let out of prison, Willie Horton, and that turned the entire election against him, as it should have. Right? I mean, the Willie Horton ad is one of the, top 3 most famous political ads in history. And that was just letting one killer out to kill. Now Democrats, they're letting killers out to kill on a daily basis. And Democrats, liberals in this country, in general, have sympathy towards criminals. Look at the Maryland man, right? The Maryland man's a human trafficker. That's slavery. That's slave trafficking. And they don't care. They still support the fake Maryland man, even though he's a slave trafficker. So Tyler Robinson in court smiling yesterday, he'll build up a fan club of Democrats. And if they televise the whole trial, he very well could build up a good fan club of Democrats. And I know a lot of people will say, well, what about MAGA with Kyle Rittenhouse? Kyle Rittenhouse, who, by the way, was acquitted because those were self-defense incidents, is not the same at all. That was a total incident. Those were incidents of self-defense. He was attacked. They had the video. They had the proof. They had the witnesses. Tyler Robinson was worked up by the left and their rhetoric. Very possibly a patsy for a larger conspiracy, which I believe. And he went out and did it because he was pissed off. Because Charlie Kirk said that he didn't like the way that he lived his life. And it probably was not a coincidence that he shot when he did, because he was talking about transgendered issues when Charlie was killed by that monster. But it depends on, with the Tyler Robinson trial, what kind of impact it has during the midterms. Depends on a lot of things, but it depends on what type of defense he takes. It also depends on what the Democrats do. What the Democrats, what the left did after Charlie Kirk's assassination was just reprehensible. I'll never forget it. They blamed Charlie Kirk for his own assassination. So they may continue that through the trial. Now, nothing I want to talk about. I'm going to cover that in detail on the program this morning. By the way, it's Friday. I'm on the way to the radio station, meaning it's open phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. You can call the show about any and everything on your mind on Friday. You don't have to talk about anything I bring up. Show prep's up to you guys. But I do have some things I'm going to bring up. Another thing is this about the midterms. A lot of people out there that are MAGA are talking about, well, the Democrats are going to win the midterms. Jesse Waters even. And I understand that historically, that's the way it is, right? The party in power loses in the midterms. And why that is, because, I don't know. I don't know if there's been any scientific studies on it, but what common sense tells me is pretty simple. The party in power gets comfortable, we're winning, and the party out of power get energized. So they got a big ground game of activism. That's why it typically happens, I would imagine. This election is different, though. This is a continuation of the presidential election. If the Democrats win the House back, even if we keep the Senate, they're going to impeach President Trump nonstop. It's going to bring the entire Trump administration to a halt. But like Jesse Waters is talking on television this week that the Democrats are going to win the midterms, we're going to lose. Maybe historically that's most likely to happen, and we don't know. But why do people like Jesse Waters go out and say that, right? That the Democrats are going to win? Because it's what happens historically, except for a couple of times? No. Most people that are commentators, influencers, news people, they don't want to be wrong. They're very insecure. They want to always be right. And that's a safe position. It's, MAGA, Republicans going to lose the midterms. That's a very safe prediction to make. It's like Hannity, as an example, is not a registered Republican. He's a registered independent. He's a registered conservative, Hannity, registered conservative, not a Republican. And now that he's moved to Florida, I don't know what he's registered as in Florida, but for years he talked about this, and that was all about fence sitting. I'm not interested in being right or wrong. I mean, I want to be right. I think I'm right, when I'm talking about something, obviously. But I don't think that the Democrats have the midterm elections locked up. They only will win if we don't have a massive turnout. That's it. If we have a presidential election year turnout, we will win, and we'll win big. So as opposed to going around predicting doom, why not give some real analysis? Yeah, the odds are in their favor, but we can win this thing if we turn out the vote. That's it. I don't like this loser mentality. I think like a winner. And if we lose, we lose. But it won't be because I didn't try. I'm going to do everything I can. It's important. Oh my gosh. There's a cop over here with his lights on. This guy in front of me just slowed down to like 45 miles an hour. Are you kidding me? Yeah, he's going to get in his car from that accident and jump in and chase you down, guy, for going 5 miles an hour over the limit. Give me a break. But that's it, as opposed to sitting around for an entire year almost and saying, well, the Democrats are going to win. Well, they will win with that kind of talk. That's how Mom Donnie won New York. Mom Donnie won New York because the media and many conservatives said, well, he's unbeatable. So that depressed the turnout. They only had about 16% turnout in New York for the mayor's race. If there would have been a good turnout, and Curtis Lee will help too, jerk. But the media convinced people that Mom Donnie was unbeatable. So, people don't like to go out and vote if it's a waste of time or a waste of a vote. They want to go out and vote and win. And every election, I go out and vote like I'm going to win. I don't go out with this, well, it's hopeless, and his history says, and it really just pisses me off to hear that kind of loser talk. Especially with Jesse Waters, who's on a national platform. I'm just driving past Mar-a-Lago, the Mar-a-Lago exit. About a quarter mile away. They still have not changed the sign. Donald John Trump Boulevard, that's right. All right, I'm driving by the Mar-a-Lago exit and underneath the bridge that the president drives on every time he goes to or from Mar-a-Lago from Air Force One. Right now, I'm under the Trump bridge. All right, maybe some of that wisdom fell down on me. The Trump left behind on the bridge. All right, just past the Mar-a-Lago exit. Air Force One parks right here, right to my left, when he's here, which will probably be today, right? He's going to come home today. Yeah, spending the entire year saying the Democrats are going to win, how's that going to help our turnout? What's the point of that? I mean, we have some odds against us. The historical trend, the loss of Charlie, you know. We can do it. We can pull it through. And I think most of you probably agree. All right, I got about 6 miles to go, 5 or 6 miles to go, not exactly sure till my exit. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. On the next stream, I'll be in the radio studio and I'll be taking live calls. I've been up here for a couple weeks. Maybe did I come up last week to the radio station? I don't remember. I got a meeting after the show today, so I'm coming up here for that. Welcome, everyone. Yes, yes, yes. It is Friday. And I'll be podcasting quite a bit over the weekend, guys, so make sure you don't miss out on the weekend podcast. So much is going on. I didn't podcast yesterday because I was on on a panel on Newsmax, which will air over the weekend. We got to talk about the war on drugs, and what all the great work President Trump's doing on that, and a few other things. Okay, just got a couple miles to go, almost to my exit. I made up the time I lost. I don't know how that happened. I left about 20 minutes later than I wanted to. It's 60 degrees in South Florida, which is pretty cold for us. of traffic on the road. I guess there are a lot of people off work already. I guess. I got about a mile or so, mile and a half to my exit. Welcome, everyone. So those are going to be some of the topics I start with today. You know, I know a lot of people are worried that the Obamacare is costing us a lot. You know, this is what I know. Trump knows what he's doing. Whatever they say in the media is always going to portray what Trump is doing as a loser position. And when Trump doubles down and takes a stand like he's doing, he knows exactly what it is that he's doing. President Trump doesn't think about the news cycle today. He's thinking about the news cycle next week or next month. He knows he always is so many steps ahead of where the opposition is, isn't he? Absolutely. So I don't worry about any of that. Again, make sure you subscribe, guys. On the next stream, I'll be in the studio at the radio station. I'll be taking your live calls on the program. We've got a lot to cover today. Oh, my goodness. We have so much to cover, don't we? Holy smokes. I can't believe the time I made. I guess I got here in about 30 minutes. About 30 minutes, 35. Well, there was no traffic. Maybe a lot of people are off for the Christmas season already. I don't know. There are no holidays in broadcasting. So, in the news business, there's no holidays. So, I wouldn't be surprised if I live stream on Christmas. Oh my goodness, are they not going to be open? Yes, they will be. Good, good, good. Starbucks opens at 5. I didn't see any cars out front, so, well, they parked on the side. Sometimes the workers are running late. I'll take a quick look at the chat before I sign off, guys. Mandatory Bible study in all classrooms, I'd support that. That would be a great idea to get things in the country back on track, no doubt. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. All right, well, listen, guys, I'm going to get my coffee. I'll see you on the next stream soon, all right? Remember, it's Open Mag and Mike Friday. You can call me today about anything on your mind.